Me, Mr. Perez. Hey everybody. Okay. Hey, how you doing? I've got you set up, but I can't see you. Wait a minute. No wonder. My camera's not on. Now it's on. Okay. Whoops. Now. Hey everybody. Try again, Ray. Let me try him again. And while I'm getting Mr. Perez, I will also fire up the live stream. How's everybody doing today? Special guest today. Oops. And we've got the usual technical stuff that happens. And why it happens, I do not know, but it happens. So going over to the live stream. And there it is. And hey everybody, for some particular reason, I'm also trying to get Dr. Death on. For some particular reason, his oh, there we try the camera there. Stream is good. View on watch page. And let's see what we got here. Hey everybody. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm trying to get Dr. Death. So what I'm going to do is, so let me put this on mute, and let me go back to Skype. Let me lower you guys down so that you're in a position where, hey everybody, where we can get Dr. Death on, and get you in position here, because eventually we're going to get this whole deal with the Skype camera worked out, I trust. So there we go. Let's see here. A little lower. A little lower. A little lower. And there's Mr. Perez coming in. Answer the phone. Mr. Perez. There he is. Dr. Death. How you doing?
Check.
Yeah, I can see you, and let me see how you're coming in on the screen there. If I turn it this way.
Check.
Check. Check.
Whoa, check. Oh no, is this working?
It's working for us.
Check.
Mr. Perez? Oh, I see. Hold on a second.
Zenny, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, Zenny?
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Ah, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey,
yeah.
What's going on, Zenny?
How you doing? You're also on, I'm going to elevate you a little. I'm going to elevate the computer so that people can see you. I'm trying a different format here, slightly different. But hold on one moment. I am just about to, I can't seem to, that's what I can do. I actually lower these tripod legs. Now, purists who believe that everything should be professional and, clockwork aren't vloggers. Just letting you know. But,
are we live on air right now?
We are live. We are on YouTube Live. We are YouTube Live, my man. Yes.
Dude, I tried doing a YouTube Live.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why, see, I think I don't have some of the appropriate, stuff that you have, and I was doing it through Google Hangouts, and it wasn't working for me.
There it is. Okay. So there you are. What's going on there? What's going on back there, man?
Okay.
That's all right. What's going on back there? Sounds like something was...
My aunt's putting in the dishwasher.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were getting ramsacked or something like that. Wow. You turn that down.
No, she's just cleaning up the kitchen.
Okay, cool. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing well. Hey, did you tweet that out yet? So that way I can retweet everybody?
I did. I was about to. I was setting this up because I'm downstairs, but in such a way that it's level so that we can see you, and see the comments of everybody else. And I'm saying hi to everybody.
Man, I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, great, man. Just looking for new clients and trying to make it happen, man. That's all I can do, basically. And everybody's live. Raider Gans is on. Hey, Raider Gans says these announcers were so one-sided, he says. And big ups to Dr. Death, says silver in black Oakland. We've got Go Warriors, says what happened to GSR? He was, well, I don't know. Go Warriors. Hey, Dr. Death, he says hi.
Hello. Zenny, have you seen these?
And seen what?
This.
I can't see that. Oh, that looks goofy, man. That looks like something my 10-year-old could come up with, and guess what? I don't have a 10-year-old.
I was just going to say, wait a minute, have you seen that?
No, that's goofy looking. Nope. I'm sure. You know what it looks like, though? It looks like something from Animal House. It looks goofy. It really does. It looks totally goofy. I mean, yeah, Raider Gann says, what is that? I mean, it looks totally goofy. I have never...
Allegedly, I'm only getting this second and third hand. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, is what's being sold at the casinos in Vegas right now. Allegedly. So if I'm wrong and this is fake news, then I could be wrong. But would you really be surprised that the Raiders would be marketed to tourists? Because, like, as we all know, silver and black and renegades, and it can almost come off as criminal-esque, right?
It looks goofy.
But if you're going to market it to tourists that are coming from all over the world, this doesn't seem so...
It looks completely goofy. I mean, don't you think it looks goofy? I'm putting you on a pedestal here. It looks, and the computer here as well. It looks completely goofy, Dr. Death. It really does.
As a longtime Oakland Raider fan, mm-hmm. I am embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed, and I've gotten so much slack where I can't believe you're not following the Raiders to Vegas. This is why. I'm not a sellout.
That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. So riddle me this: is Derek Carr better than Matt Ryan? The question of the day.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear.
I'm using an audio box. Test, can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear. Hear you loud and clear. You're just fine. Yeah. As you ponder that, I'm going to tweet this out and get some comments. Raider Kuko says, that's weak. Tolerable product, says Silver and Black Oakland. T. Cooper, hey T, how you doing? T. Cooper says, hey Zinni and Dr. Death. Big Dog is in the building. Now, Go Warrior says, I'm not sure, Raider Gans. I'm not sure. Hope GSR, that person's not the real one. Hey, Go Warriors, I wouldn't worry about it. I'll talk to you about it offline. Anyway, I'm going to tweet this out. Everybody give a thumbs up if you can, please. I'm going to tweet this out. Thank you for tweeting out, Ray.
Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've been totally disconnected from the NFL world, mm-hmm. right?
Okay.
With stats, and I barely know anything about Derek Carr's contract. I've purposely kind of been putting it at a distance. Mm-hmm. But here's the question that I would ask, like, on the surface without pulling out any stats. Mm-hmm. What team would suffer the most if their quarterback was out for a long period of time?
The Raiders.
Would would Matt Ryan's team be okay if he missed the last 4 games of the season?
The Falcons' defense was better than the Raiders, so I would have to say, based on last year, yeah. This year, a different story.
Okay. Now I'm going to follow with that.
Right.
Does this speak more about the quarterback or the coach?
The coach. Because I think Matt Ryan can step in and be a Raider. All right, that's how highly I think of. That's how I highly think of Matt Ryan. Okay. Now, and not only that, as Raider Gans points out, the Falcons have a solid running game too. And hey, Go Warriors, don't worry about it. I just don't. Go Warriors. I would prefer not to deal with like little things. We're having big conversations, but I understand you're bringing it up, and I don't mean to be insulting when I say that, so please forgive me. That wasn't my intention. I will say that the Golden State Raider, for some particular reason, started behaving in a way that was not how moderators should behave, and so I didn't feel comfortable having him as a moderator. So that's that. Okay, and but anyway, back to the Go Warriors. How about it, man? Is Derek Carr better than Matt Ryan? The reason I ask is I'm here in Atlantiville. I'm here in Falcons land. And there are people who believe that Matt Ryan, who I might add is one of the top 10 players in the NFL. In other words, they haven't ranked them yet, right? But Derek Carr is number 11. Number 11.
I saw that.
Yeah. So my point is, and what I've said for the last few threads on this, Dr. Death, is that, look, I contend the Raiders have set up Derek Carr to fail. Because when you have a contract that high, he becomes a target. And if the Raiders don't bring a just incredible offense to complement that contract, I know it doesn't make any sense, but that's what they're going to have to do. He's going to be a marked man. He is already a marked man from the perspective of the talk around here. There are people who are pissed off. You know?
Yeah. This is a tough one, right? Because Matt Ryan has been in the NFL a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
He has more playoff wins under his belt. But it's also different because he has a defense to complement his MVP-type play.
Mm-hmm.
And that cannot be said with Derek Carr. And again, take with what I'm saying is with a grain of salt. I've completely cut myself off from any Raider football, so I think any of my knowledge is coming from up into the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Patrick, thank you for the contribution, by the way. Patrick just put in $2. Thank you.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, the Raiders have not addressed their middle linebacker position yet.
Nope.
Do they have any veteran interior defensive linemen to help stop the run game? Honestly, that's just an honest question, right? I've heard that they have a new rookie at the cornerback position and that they would move him, the new rookie cornerback, to the slot position and would have Sean Smith play the other corner in a nickel defense.
Now, they did take a D tackle, I think, in the 5th round.
So a 5th round defensive tackle, no proven middle linebacker. They're expected to carry the weight on the defense with a potent offense and carry them to a Super Bowl.
Hey, all right. My take on that is this, okay? It's all about scheme, and this is my point. All right, my point is that it's all about scheme, folks, and that I'm gonna tilt this a little bit so I can make my point. It's all about scheme, okay? And if the Raiders can stop this 2-gap scheme, I said it before, this USC style defense, which look, they're not gonna do, okay? They're a lot better off. But if they maintain it going into this season, I think it's going to be a longer year. Now, the wild card is how the offense is designed. That's just my take on it. But statistically, it's backed up by the fact that Jack Del Rio has had a successful season after he replaced an offensive coordinator. So, there you go, Doc. There you go.
Yeah, and, they brought in they brought in an assistant coordinator, from San Diego,
right.
now the LA Chargers, right?
Right.
And whatever title they designated him, it was a really long-winded title. And when I first saw that, I said, so that's just a long-winded term of if Ken Norton Jr. screws up in the middle of the season, you're going to take over.
Now, hey, Patrick M. Blackman has a great point. He says middle linebacker means nothing if you don't have decent defensive tackles. And Dr. Death, I think you'd agree with that, right? And then, and then Raider Gans says, let's play hypotheticals. If Carr played for last year's the Falcons, would Brady have come back to win? Yeah, because, and I'll tell you why I say that, okay? And I interviewed Falcons head coach Dan Quinn about this. What do the Seattle Seahawks, who lost to the New England Patriots 2 years ago, and the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl team have in common? Easy answer. Dan Quinn, right? Dan Quinn was the D coordinator. Okay?
That's right.
Right? All right.
That's right.
Dan Quinn was the D coordinator for the Seahawks. And then for the Falcons, of course, he's head coach. So I asked Mr. Quinn, and it's on Zenny62 at the NFC Coaches Breakfast, I said, do you think that we have gotten into the era where we overthink personnel matchups in such a way that rather than just running the ball down the throat, which is what Bill Walsh would have done. You get a big lead like that, it's 31, you run the ball, right? You don't make the first down, you punt, right? Instead, you have this matchup, and you have to take advantage of the matchup. And Quinn basically said in so many words he'd do the same thing again. Now, I personally think that's not a good idea. But that situation, I don't want to go too far down the pipe of talking about that, but that situation indicates to me that it doesn't matter who the quarterback was at that time. Remember, it wasn't left to Matt Ryan to call the play. It was left to Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn. And they're big on play calling versus matchups. So you could have been quarterback, Ray. I could have been quarterback. Matt Ryan could have been a quarterback. Derek Carr would have been quarterback. The outcome would have been the same. Sack, fumble. That's my point. All right.
And I think there was a time, if I recall. Wait, can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you now. You were down for a little bit. Yeah, you did something, but you're back now. Go ahead.
Okay. Wasn't there a time where he was
Hey, turn that up a little. For some reason, your voice went down. I don't know why. Let me try something. Turn that up. Whatever you're doing, turn it up a little bit.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's much better. Much better.
We're good?
Yeah. Yes.
I think there was a time where weren't they facing like a 3rd and 1, and instead of running the ball, they threw it, I believe, to run the clock down instead of running the clock down.
Well, yeah, that was why. He got
cute.
He got sacked. He got killed.
He got sacked.
And he fumbled the ball. And the Patriots took over. That was the turning point of the game. Now, a Bill Walsh coach team, that would have been a run.
I'm gonna take this off.
Okay. And hey, John Marks, how you doing? And so, and Richard Hike, how you doing? Louder but distorted. Okay. I think he's straightening out his sound there. And Go Warriors says, I think Matt Ryan and Derek Carr, I would rank them the same. But if I had to choose, I would take Matt Ryan over Derek Carr. I think, personally, and this is no slam against Derek Carr, I think he's brought along too quickly. And I've never seen a quarterback that was so anointed. Yes, I have Troy Aikman. But Troy Aikman got stomped his first year. I mean, stomped. And they built the team around him, you know? But
you know what? Let me tell you about, because look, I want to reemphasize this. I think I'm just too bitter.
Okay.
Over the Raider season, and I think
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, but I want to be very forthright, because people are saying, I thought you weren't following the Raiders anymore, Dr. Dad. I want to be very honest here. I think my bitterness is tainting a little bit of how I see Derek Carr and his comments. If you're not a real Raider fan, if you don't follow him, I want to try to put that aside for a second. I'm going to tell you what I do like about Derek Carr and why I like him compared to maybe a Matt Ryan. I like quarterbacks that take chances. Because when you take chances, you're going to fail. But when you do take chances and you succeed, you're going to be extraordinary. We know this, Brett Favre. Brett Favre was very chancy through his career. That's what I like about Derek Carr. And I hate saying this, but I think, with the offense he has now with beast mode, you have Lee Smith coming back for Derek Carr. Right now, his standard for Derek Carr with this contract, it's either 13-3 and your top 2 offense in the league. And if you're not in there, it's a bust for you. So there is he has a lot of weight on him. Again, putting my bitterness to the side, if I was still entrenched in the Raiders, I would say I would be eager for Derek Carr, because you have a guy who is he's not a hard ass. His teammates love him. Yep. He doesn't buckle under pressure. It would not surprise me
that by season's end, if Derek Carr came out as MVP and he had better numbers than Matt Ryan. I think, now, this is where you can interject here, Zenny. I think we're giving the nod to Matt because he's had a few more years in the league.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's got the demonstrable results. He's an NFC champion. Okay?
Right.
He's won playoff games, plural. Derek Carr has not won one playoff game. You hear what I'm saying?
Right, and totally. And you know what? Should we use it against him that he got hurt? Should we use it against him that his one left tackle gave up one sack all year long, and that one sack is when he got hurt?
Yeah, I could use it against him. I could say, hey man, you should have ran out of that. I could say, hey man, if you fear, maybe you should have read the defense and figured that Donald Penn maybe needed, an extra blocker. I mean, am I being mean when I say that? I'm being analytical. But my point is that he is the quarterback. The quarterback has control of the offense. It's almost like, he didn't have any control over his circumstances, and he did. But my point is that beyond that is you don't pay a person based on the fact that you as an organization have not installed a system that allows a plug-and-play quarterback situation. Now, what do I mean? I mean where any quarterback can come in who knows the system well and be effective. The Raiders, and we've seen it, do not have that kind of offense. And that's Jack Del Rio's fault. Okay, and he's going to fall on his sword with that situation being intact, and he's just made his big gun a big target, which means that scenario is more likely to come to pass than ever before. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Dale.
No, and, everything that you're saying, I agree with, right? Now, we're talking about a potential playoff caliber type team. Not just playoff caliber. They're being thrown in Super Bowl caliber type team, right? So there's a difference between, playoff caliber, you snuck into the wild card, but then we have those teams that go deep in the championship games and Super Bowls and are contending for Super Bowls, right? If you compare the system that is under Jack Del Rio and you compare him to the Mike Tomlins and the Bill Belichick's, the teams that have won Super Bowls and the Green Bay Packers, look at those teams in the last 3 to 5 years that have won Super Bowls. Their starter was hurt, and they were able to plug and play for 3-4 games and win 4 out of 5 games with the backup in the middle of the year in November, December. The same cannot be said for the Raiders right now. Now, again, I'm going to say this again because I can. I don't really care, but I'm going to say this as a non-Raider fan, right? When Matt McGloin...
But you're an Oakland Raider fan.
I'm an Oakland Raider fan. I will always be an Oakland Raider fan.
Yeah.
But when I saw Matt McGloin go under center in a... it wasn't a playoff game. It was against the Broncos. And he's been 3 years in this system. And he looked befuddled. He looked... he went on the sidelines and distanced himself, alienated himself from the entire team. I said, it's not like this is his first year with the Raiders, Matt McGloin. Right. He's been with this team for 3 years. He brought this team back when they were 0-10 and very competitive.
Yep.
If you can't plug and play Matt McGloin in this system, and you didn't see this from the beginning, something's wrong here. I don't know, and I'm going to be honest. Who's their backup quarterback right now, Zenny? Do you know? Who's
Connor Cook.
Backup?
Connor Cook.
Oh. So you have a quarterback that spent all of 15 games on the inactive roster. He's played 3/4 of a regular season game. He got frazzled in the playoff game in Houston, and he's backing up your $25 million a year quarterback. You didn't bring.
We also have, as Citron pointed out, we also have EJ Manuel, who was my favorite coming out of college, Florida State. He was the 10th pick of the Bills. Number 10 to the Buffalo Bills when he came out in, I believe, 2013. And, E.J. Manuel's the backup. E.J. Manuel's the backup. Then Connor Cook. I stand corrected. Corrected.
Just to show you how disconnected.
But you know what?
I've been with
But you know what though, E.J.
Right?
But E.J. Manuel gives us some insurance that we didn't have with Connor Cook or Matt McGloin. You know why? Because E.J. can run, and E.J. could very well, given his talent, supplant Derek Carr. I know people are not going to want to hear this, but he could supplant Derek Carr for the starting job.
I don't agree with that at all. I respectfully disagree with that. In my opinion, I honestly think that Derek Carr has a lot of talent.
Well, it's not a matter. No, whoa. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent. I'm saying that E.J. Manuel is an incredible athletic specimen of a quarterback who's competitive, who will push Derek Carr. I'm sorry to say that. But, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that could happen.
No, totally. I mean, we can agree to disagree. Yeah. I just personally think that Derek Carr is going to be a top 5 quarterback at least by the end of the year.
He'll be good, but what I'm saying is that he will. Here's my point. When I say supplant, I want people to understand what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that E.J. Manuel is going to beat him out. I'm saying that because of his superior athletic ability, Carr will get injured and Manuel will take over, and it'll be harder for Carr to get back. That's my point. That is my point. Now, Rick Rice says, why is everyone hating on Carr? He got paid the market rate. I disagree with that. If the Raiders didn't, I way disagree with that. Rick, he did not get paid the market rate. I didn't think I was going to get pissed off. Now I'm pissed off. He didn't get paid the market rate. He got over the market. He reset the market. Okay? What is this market rate stuff? Ah! Okay, I'm sorry.
Ugh. Here's what I do got to say to that, right?
Market rate.
I'm really, and I'll be very honest, I'm trying my best to channel in my former Oakland Raider passion and how much. If they played above the market rate to like an interior lineman, a running back, maybe a wide receiver, a position player that almost never sees the ball or sees the ball maybe once every 5 snaps, I would be like, come on, man, why do you got to pay him that much? Derek Carr being a quarterback that touches the ball almost every single offensive snap and dictates what is going to happen with that offense pre-snap, before you even get on the field. As a former Oakland Raider, I am okay him getting paid above market rate, because there's only one thing ever that's going to validate me coming back in a year from now and saying, I told you, Zenny, it's a good thing we paid him above market rate.
Okay, I'm just
winning a Super Bowl.
I'm just acknowledging one thing, and this is why I got to say this. I'm just saying, Rick Rice, I just got to let you know, man, he's getting paid above market rate, okay? Just saying, all right? Now I'm turning it back to, I have to say that, okay? By the way, hey, Dr. Death, can you put the light more on you, because you're a little dark? I don't know if you can, it's over your head, but it's not, maybe something that could point at you, maybe a light, something.
Let me see here. Does that make a difference at all?
Yeah, that's actually better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you were.
I turned off the light above me.
Yeah, you were dark there, man. I was like, what's going on? Anyway, now Rick Rice says Zinni always sides with the black quarterbacks. Laugh out loud. Well, why not? Why do you want to go against him? I'm not siding with him just because he's black. He's a good guy, a good quarterback, E.J. Manuel, who happens to be black. But are you telling me you're siding against him because he's black, Rick Rice? Are you a self-hating black man? Because you say you're black. I've never seen you. I don't know what you really look like. But are you a self-hating black man? Is that it? I'm just asking, man. I'm feeling my oats tonight. I'm sorry. Doggone it.
Zenny, I'm just taking it back. I think the only thing that's going to really justify him getting paid above market rate, he starts winning playoff games and he essentially wins a Super Bowl. Again, because I really hate Mark Davis. I don't want them to win a Super Bowl. I just don't. I don't care what people. I can't believe you hate us now. I don't really care. But going the topic at hand, the only thing that's going to really justify him getting paid that much is taking a franchise that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 plus years, went through 14 years of losing, paying him above market rate, a position that touches the ball almost every single snap. You justify that by winning football games, winning playoff games against Patriots, Steelers, beating your division rival,
winning the AFC West, winning the Super Bowl. And that's what I hope that's what they paid him for, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got to ask you, why do you hate Mark Davis if we're talking about a competitive Raider team that he built? I mean, I know the answer about the Vegas thing, but I'm saying, can't you, like, take one and you, like, give him a little, like, can you do him a solid on one area?
Last I checked, Mark Davis said he knows what he doesn't know. And he hired people to come in. Well, not he just signed off on bringing in Reggie McKenzie when other people told him to bring Reggie in. So they just pretty much said, Mark, this is who you should bring in, interview him, and sign on the dotted line. Okay? Now,
John Marks agrees with you. He says he hates Mark Davis. I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't hate Mark.
Say that again?
John Marks agrees with you. He says he hates Mark Davis on Caps. I don't. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I give him credit for listening to people around him to bring someone else in to handle football operations. Yes, I was 2 years ago that I said I think Reggie McKenzie needs to be fired because he held on to Dennis Allen for too long. As a former Raider, I'm happy to be wrong about that. Yeah, I'm wrong. I should not have asked him to be fired. I hate Mark Davis because he's taking one. We have been loyal to him as a fan base.
Yes.
We bought his season tickets when they were giving them away for free.
Yes.
He never acted in good faith. He himself said on the JT, Mark Davis said on the JT the Brick Show, even if Ronnie Lott gives me a deal, I'm not going to listen to him because the governor of Nevada, I gave him my word on $750 million. He lied to us. He told us that he wanted to try and we needed to come to the table. When in reality, in 2013, he told Eric Grubman, as stated in ESPN, he's going to Las Vegas and he's going to make it happen. So,
2014.
2014, excuse me.
Sure.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
So basically, you look back, the only thing Mark Davis was doing was trying to save a place for his team to play while he figures something out in another city.
Mm-hmm.
While we were loyal to him through the 0-10s and the 3-13s and the community, we invested in him. We went to city council. How many council meetings did we go to, Zenny, over the years?
A lot.
A lot. How many times, and honest question here, how many times did you see anybody from the Raiders organization represented?
Never. None.
Never.
And not only that, to double down on what you're saying, the NFL has this line that the Raiders have approached the city for a new stadium. The Raiders have never initiated talks for a new stadium in their history.
Because Zenny, you're more politically involved in Oakland, respectfully speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to correct me if I'm wrong on this.
All right.
I'd be more than happy to, and I'll tweet it out. I will say I was wrong. Zenny corrected me.
All right.
In March 27th of 2017,
mm-hmm.
reports said that the National Football League wanted to know what was going on with the A's because they wanted all 120 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did the National Football League submit a formal proposal to the city of Oakland asking them for the land?
I was told as far back as 2015, yes. I was told specifically September 15th of 2015 that the NFL, when I tweeted this out, that the NFL wanted to buy and develop a new stadium on the Raider property. On the Coliseum property for the Raiders. So if you hear that, that basically means what? It means, that the city is going to deed over the land to them, contingent upon some type of quid pro quo, of course. Now, keep in mind this. The previous mayor, Gene Kwan, wanted to do just that, give the land to the NFL. That was part of the plan. The trouble is that Colony Capital didn't have any money. They lied. Okay? So, but nobody did their due diligence on Colony Capital until it was too late. And then same with Floyd Gephardt. Floyd Gephardt didn't have any money. He basically was trying to set himself up to use public money to become a billionaire by owning part of the Raiders. And I told Libby personally, you cannot politically let him do that. Okay? It just would not go over well with anybody. It just would be, it's political suicide. So, John Marks claims that Mark Davis needs to apologize about Las Vegas, San Antonio, St. Louis, and to Oakland. And Go Warriors agrees with me, and Raider Kuko agrees with you, Ray, but he sees my point regarding Mark Davis. And see, here's my point with Davis, okay? We're going to win in court. I'm going to tell you that. I have no question that we're going to win in court. My only concern is,
okay,
I'm just being blunt, I contend that we need to go private financing with this deal, with a suit, and bring the government along for the ride rather than asking the government to help us fund a lawsuit. And I point to Stephen Donziger as the example. Who's Stephen Donziger? He's a New York trial lawyer who sued Chevron for the past 20 years, but he got Burford Capital to put in I think $15 million, and that opened my eyes to an industry called litigation financing. So if you have a lawsuit, you think you can win it, you need a few million, you go to a company like Burford Capital. They'll analyze your case with their own lawyers, and they may suggest a different strategy. But the bottom line is they'll put the money up.
Does We Stand with Oakland, the people that are involved, know this? Like my people that are involved, do they know this? Have you talked to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing, Zenny, both you and I, we are both connected in this in our own respective ways, and obviously there's things that we're obviously leaving out.
Russ Rivera just said yes.
Oh, okay. So what's up, Russ?
Yeah.
Because see here, I want to take this back, right? And I was talking to Russ about this. My point was, and I was asking a question because I have yet to see it. On March 27th, did the National Football League give Libby Schaaf a formal proposal to buy the land? And here's why I bring this up. Let's say
March 27th of this year?
Of this year.
That was the NFL meeting. That was the day after
correct.
That was the day. Go ahead with your question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so with Ronnie Lott's group, did the National Football League submit a proposal to buy the land? And here's why I proposed this. This is why I asked this question. If they did not give a formal proposal, and Libby Schaaf tells them publicly, yes, I will kick the A's out with a 2-year activation clause, with nothing in writing, and the National Football League says, you give us 120 acres, but we still want more. We want X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And Oakland says, I don't want to go that far. Then the NFL says, well, fine then. We're going to continue to go to Las Vegas. So now Oakland is left with no A's, no Raiders, nothing written, and now Oakland has nothing.
That wasn't as I understood it.
And that's why I asked, because I yet, unless you have it,
okay, this is what I know, all right?
National Football League wants.
I talked to Larry Gallegos about this, who's in economic development last fall, and at the time I made our contribution not for attribution to source, okay? Larry told me that the NFL had approached the city of Oakland in 2015 with the desire to be a developer on the property. According to Larry, at that point, the NFL flipped to being a common developer like anyone else the city of Oakland would deal with. Larry said that the NFL could not provide the proper financial proof and basis for their ability to develop the land. That's what he told me, okay? And so the deal fell by the wayside.
Which is merely what I'm asking, right? I'm asking, did the NFL provide that?
But they didn't, according to Larry. Now, when I brought this attention, I asked government about this on camera. And Eric's response was, I never heard of such an individual. Okay. Now, take that for what it's worth. And then he denied that situation existed. Now, I know that when Libby first initiated the idea of using tax increment financing on the property,
the TIF district.
Right. I sent to her a text, and I said, because she and I were arguing back and forth, and I kept saying, give them the land, and she kept refusing. And I said, you can't. And then I saw the document with that plan. The one that Mark Davis refers to as the 5-page plan, that was all they did, right? And he was right to a degree. But anyway, I told Libby, you cannot propose tax increment financing and then own the land that will be used for the TIF. You have to give it up to somebody, give it to the NFL. And then she agreed that I was right and said she would. But here's the thing, what bothered me is she didn't do that, which made me feel like I wasn't being treated above board, okay? And, I'm just choosing my words carefully, but I'm just putting it out there. That's the fact.
I don't want people to, because I know what you're saying. But I want, just in case people are kind of lost, that money that comes from the TIF district, right? Mm-hmm. That means, so people are clear, if that's taxes that are being accrued from shops and condos, the extra
I'll make it real easy. If you own it's called property tax. If you pay a property tax in the area of the Coliseum, normally, I'll tell you the breakdown, okay? 33% goes to the County of Alameda, 31% to the City of Oakland, 20% to BART, and the remainder to AC Transit and whatever flood control district has jurisdiction over that area. Now, that's the normal breakdown. Oh, and then, of course, to the state of California. That's the normal breakdown. When you initiate a TIF and it's approved by your city council, the redevelopment agency or the successor agency that they now call gets that money, and that money is used to help retire the debt on bond issues. The bond issue is floated, you take the proceeds, which is basically one big upfront check, and you pay for stadium construction. That's how that works. So, but the bottom line is the only way that dynamic I just described to you can work is if you have a private sector organization paying property tax. The city of Oakland cannot effectively pay property tax to itself. And that is why Libby was not correct in saying she would use tax increment financing, because in order to do that, you have to give up the land. That's what the problem was. And that intellectual disconnect has existed for some time. And when she didn't relent and give the land, it still existed. Now, you and Boss argued with Larry after the rally. Remember that day? Okay. Yep. All right. Now, while you were drawing with Larry, I had just previously to that interviewed Dan Cow, Oakland City Council member. Dan told me that the NFL better hurry up and make its decision, because if they don't want to be here, all this land is going to be cleared. Sports isn't going to be back here. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. And so they didn't have, and I was told by another person whose name I cannot use in this forum, very high-ranking official told me that there was a biotech company that wanted to buy the land if it was cleared of the Raiders and the A's and the Warriors in Oracle Arena. And I had an argument with Libby saying, hey, why are you going to, out of respect, Ms. Mayor, why are you going to tear down Oracle Arena? We already have a shortage of convention and hotel space. And she says, there's some people who agree with you. And we left it at that. And we've got, let's see here. I think Jabber said something. I can't get it. Go Warriors says, Zinni, you really need to be mayor. Oh, thanks. Oh boy, man, I've got to get money in my pocket right now here. I just finished one client job, and hey, let me just take one thing at a time here. I'm client hunting and sponsor hunting. Hey, want to put your brand on?
I got about 10 minutes because I got work in the morning.
Okay.
Because I got to drive to the East Bay right now. But I just want to accentuate to my original question, and you alluded to this. From what I'm understanding, the NFL did not give any legal proposal and documentation that they wanted the Coliseum property.
They didn't give.
It's not documented.
I don't know that they didn't give a formal request. Libby says she never got one. Okay.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But see, the reason I hesitate is because for almost 2 years, the NFL has expressed a desire to have that property. That is not old. So, all it takes if you express that is for the city and the county to say, yes, we'll do it. But something funny happened. You have to remember, once again, this goes back to Gephardt. And had Gephardt remained and had Gene Kwan still been mayor, that property would have been in the possession of the Raiders. Okay?
You know what I think about all this, Zenny? You want me to give you my honest opinion about this?
Yeah, of course.
I really want to know, like, if you were to tell me, yeah, there is a formal proposal, and I would have said, hey, I'm wrong. But you know what this tells me, just hearing it from you? This is what I think about the NFL. They're full of crap, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You just told me that it's been known that the NFL has wanted this piece of property. They've had 2 years to come up with letters and a formal, in writing, what they want to do with that property in the Bay Area on a piece of property where there is no public dollars being used. But you know what? This is just my opinion. They didn't do that, and I'll tell you why. There's $750 million in Las Vegas, that's one. And number two, the move incentivizes for all 31 other owners. There's over $1.2 billion and $750 million that incentivizes a Raiders move. So the NFL could have solidified, given a formal, documented proposal to buy that Coliseum property. They had 2 years to do that. And to now we're like, oh, it kind of, maybe, sort of, they alluded to it. I think, I don't. Cut the crap, NFL.
No, that wasn't the case. In fact, I know, look, let me explain. In 2015, I know that the NFL had made an offer to buy that property. Now, whether it was in writing or whatever, I'll find out. But this has been done more than once, right? And there's something else. $750 million goes in part for construction. I remind you that Fortress has already stated they're willing to commit on paper $800 million. Let's get that out of the way.
Right.
All right? Now, as far as the relocation fee and everything, look, I told anybody who would not listen, I told the mayor this a number of times. When you're dealing with an organization and you're not certain of the truthfulness of how they go about business, okay? You have to make absolutely certain that everything that you do is above board. You cannot have a hidden agenda. Because if you have a hidden agenda, they have a more powerful PR apparatus than you do.
True.
And they will hit you with it. Because what people forget is that ESPN is, for all practical purposes, a part owner of the NFL. Now, what do I mean? The NFL, the ESPN and Cap Cities is part of Cap Cities ABC, and they pay the rights fees for the NFL. That's the mother's milk that the NFL enjoys that keeps it alive. That's why, I thought about this for a split second, because I would see John Clayton at the meetings, and he was always been able to get open door access to the owners or sit down with them, and I thought, that's interesting. Why is that? And as soon as I thought that through, and I said, I stopped myself, because I said, well, of course, he's working for the company that's basically paying their bills. So they have to be nice to him. And so they are.
Right.
So that's why I said all that to say this. ESPN is going to be the last organization to say anything negative about Raiders Vegas or anything. They might look like it for conversations, for
conversation purposes,
for ratings, right? But at the end of the day, they're going to be all for whatever their gravy train, goes with. Now, to a degree, okay? Because the NFL Network took a flyer on that. Rich Eisen, during the NFL draft, basically says, hey, look, we're not going to trumpet what the Raiders are doing and promoting Vegas over Oakland. And there was a good reason for that. Because the Raiders are playing where? In Oakland. The Raiders headquarters is where? In, Alameda, but Oakland, right? And so on and so on. My point is that they're in a situation where the visiting teams share revenue for all the NFL teams can be negatively impacted if no one bought tickets. Fortunately, people have bought tickets. But Rich Eisen was right to do what he did. My point is that those two organizations have vested interest in the NFL, and they're going to help the NFL get out its word before they even think about helping the city of Oakland and the mayor.
Yeah. I still stand by, and I've said this before in my Periscopes, I still would like to see a formal proposal by the National Football League telling to the current administration in the last 6 months what they have wanted from the land. That's
and I'll ask and see if anything was ever put out there, because if it was, it's out there. I've seen a bunch of emails that didn't allude to the existence of a formal proposal, but go ahead.
No, and I don't mean like, oh, hey, if you give me this and if you give the NFL, I'm not talking about a text message.
Right.
I'm talking about like the term sheet, right? That we were.
You're talking about like what Egbert Perry gave, where he said he wanted to buy the land for $127 million, $167 million.
Yeah, and that was
like
a legal document and said, look, if that.
It was a letter. It was a letter. A letter of intent.
A letter
of intent.
Exactly. If that surfaces that the NFL in writing told Libby what they wanted, then I'd say, well, look, Libby, you got it in writing what they wanted. Why don't you give it to them? As far as I'm concerned, it's all in jest. It's all in words. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're almost expected to bend over backwards for the National Football League.
Well, my point is it's called takeaway. And to a degree, you're right. My point is, and I said this to Libby and I said this to anybody, you don't put yourself in a position where you are being hard-headed when you're dealing with somebody who's being hard-headed. And that's what she did. And so, and as Jabber says, he's right, it was expressed. And Jacob P. is tuning in from Kauai, Hawaii. Welcome. But anyway.
Hey, aloha.
Aloha. But my point is that Libby should have simply said, okay, fine, we'll give you that. She should have played Bill Clinton, which is, I will give you anything you want because at the end of the day, I know I'm going to get what I want. And at the end of the day, she could say, look, I gave them everything, and yet they didn't do it. It would have made them look 1,000% bad.
I can see that.
Instead of making them look just bad. Okay, it would have made them look really, really, really bad. Like, hey, look, they gave you this land. They've got the A's already to go to Howard Terminal or Jack London. What are you doing? Why? Okay, they've got this company that's put in $800 million, all right? Why are you doing this, all right? So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Zenny, hey, but any closing questions, comments from you? Because I have to get going. I have to drive out to the East Bay right now.
Yeah. No, hey, thanks for coming on, man. Our show tomorrow night, me and Dr. and Grizz are going to be on. I'd love for you to join us if Grizz, after that, clear with Grizz, but, be cool to have you on.
What time is this going to be on?
8:30 Pacific, 11:30.
I will try my
Eastern.
best.
Mm-hmm. Let me check with Grizz before I do it, before... That's a solid. That's a final. Okay?
Yeah. Of course. Well, no, hey, thanks for the chat. That's why I was talking about this idea, what I was just telling you about. I was like, well, let me see what Zenny has to say about it, But, let me bring up one more thing, Zenny. I want to get your.
Oh, by the way, I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that there's a 5-game promote. Thank you, Russ Rivera.
Yes.
A 5-game promotion for A's games. You go to athletics.com//fundraising. Again, athletics.com/fundraising. And the code, Russell, again, if you could type that in, please, real quick, so I don't make a mistake there. But this is what is about to pop up, and I'm going to recite, is the discount code. It's called Direct Help. All right?
Uh-huh.
That's your discount code, and if you buy, and the games are already listed there. You've got the 2 games, the Battle of the Bay versus the Giants. You've got a game against the Rangers, the Texas Rangers. You've got, I believe, the White Sox and the Indians, okay? So, go and get them. You can buy tickets to one.
I'll be out there.
You can buy tickets to one contest or all of them, but go get them. 50% goes to the legal fund to save the Raiders for Oakland. Yeah.
Also, GoFundMe.com/We Stand with Oakland.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
All right.
Zenny, but before I go, I want to read one of the NFL bylaws that I've been commenting on.
Mm-hmm.
I want your opinion on this really quick before I get going.
Okay.
Okay, this is part A, number 1. This is the last sentence, okay?
Okay.
It says, a club may not, however, grant exclusive negotiating rights to a community or potential stadium landlord other than one in its current home territory.
Yeah, and that's where the Raiders fucked up. Excuse my language. Screwed up. Yeah.
Okay, so I am...
But see, here's the problem. There's another part of the bylaws that says that they can entertain, and I'm paraphrasing, they can entertain offers for new stadiums in other cities. There's another part that says that. So they seem to contradict each other. Okay.
But, and see, this is where we also add acting in good faith. That's when
now that's the big issue. That's the big issue. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was going to, that's the issue because when Mark Davis went on JT the Brick show, and JT the Brick asked him about Ronnie Lott, and Mark followed with, yeah, but I gave my word to the governor of Nevada. But you signed a legal document called your lease extension that said you had to operate in good faith. Now, here's the thing that I think is on our side. That even though you can translate these rules, if you play to a jury's emotions and you paint the NFL as a monopoly and trying to, as I've said this before, analogously, if the NFL says to all these NFL cities from Chicago to New York and Oakland, 1, 2, 3, 4, you meet all 4 and these cities meet all 4 criteria and dish out hundreds of millions of dollars, but the NFL says, you know what? Yeah, but we get money off of relocating teams. Who is there to regulate the NFL?
No one. Nobody.
That's why so when you have a jury that has no NFL, if we have jury with 40-year-old women who know nothing about football, and they're there just to analyze things that can be translated, like rules that are that can be translated, that can potentially play in our favor.
That's right. I want to correct something. Hey, Jabber is saying it also says that if the team comes to a stalemate, they can look in other places. But Jabber, here's the thing. It was never clear they came to a stalemate. Because coming to a stalemate means, as I'm sure Ray will agree, it means, you know what? You and I don't talk. We're done talking. Right. Okay? And as opposed to, oh, I'll meet with you, and yeah, I want to stay here, and yeah, I've got this going, and then I'm working behind your back. And that is the problem, okay?
And you never meet.
Right. Well, actually, they did. They exchanged emails to meet. But it's not clear that they actually ever met. Save for a few meetings where I personally saw Larry Gallegos come out of the mayor's office, all right? So there were meetings, but the question is, were they just smoke screen? To me, it looked like they were.
Right. And see, the issue is, did Mark Davis come in and talk to Fortress and say, this may not work, but this will work, and this is what will contribute? No. That never happened.
No.
That I'm aware of.
No.
That never happened.
No.
If that happens, if that did happen, and they came, and I told people this, if Mark Davis came with investors and B of A, and he came with all these people to help him get something done, and he came to a true stalemate, and he had to end up going to Las Vegas, I would probably continue root for the Raiders. Mm-hmm. But that never happened.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep. And not only that, too, there's this idea, Corvette says the NFL makes their own laws and breaks their own laws, but here's the thing. That's not how it works. It's very important for all of you, Corvette, Jabber, John, Russ, everybody, to read. And if you don't understand it, come here and we'll talk about it, because I do. Read the Supreme Court case. City of Oakland versus Oakland Raiders that was remanded to the lower court. And I say read that because, and I read it carefully. Read the case history, all the cases. There's actually a set of them. It's like 3 of them. It's the original lower court, then it got put up to the Supreme Court, then it got bounced back to the appellate court, all right? The reason why I say read them is because what you'll find out is that originally, when Al Davis was on the stand, Al Davis and the court both agreed that the NFL should have some sort of relocation bylaws. So what you're talking about, that the NFL created its own laws, technically it's not. It was actually court ordered. Because they basically built something and then they violated a document that was a court order. All right? So there you go.
Yeah. Hey, Zenny, I got to run. I got to head out.
Great show. Drive carefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, thanks for having me on. I like your input and back and forth.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun,
Hey, guys,
man.
have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Doc Def. I'll see you. Drive careful.
Right. Take care.
You got it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you. Okay, folks, that was the great Dr. Death, and that was the great Dr. Death, and he's, as usual, that all came together at the last minute, and I'm very grateful for my friend Ray Perez for coming on and, talking, and now I can elevate this and have a discussion. I'm gonna go till 1:30 tonight. Hey, thank you, Jabber. Appreciate that very much. And I can read your comments. That was a great conversation. I enjoyed that. It'd be nice to have some more, multiple participant conversations. So go Warriors. I hear you. I hear you out there, and I got you. And so yeah. So what you guys think of that? Alan Forsyth says, why 1:30? That's not long enough. No, well, Alan, it is because, first of all, it's a matter of just efficiency of discussion. And what I mean by that is that it's like this, okay? When I first activated, you guys come on like that, right? And then after a while, people fall off. And so there's a maximum number of audience number that's hit. And after that, after 1:30, I start to peter out. And that's what's going on. And so I've got to, I don't know if, maybe if I kept this going all night, I don't know how much money I can make. But the whole point is that I'll have to try that one day and do a 4-hour night show or 5 hours and just see what happens, right? Because I could do that. But tonight is not that night because I didn't plan for it, and there's activities I've got to take care of tomorrow. So that's what's going on there. Now, hey, Patrick says, I like the fact that you can disagree, and so keep the conversation moving. Yeah, hey, good night, Barry Lee. Thank you. And Ray is a great person, Alan. You're right about that. And Jabber says, NFL can't break laws that were court order. Yeah, this was essentially a court, I say court order. Yeah, it was a court order for all practical purposes, or a court suggestion. What's the difference, right? I mean, it came from the court. The court said you need to have this. The NFL says itself that's where the relocation bylaws came from, and it's right there in black and white in the 1982 court case, City of Oakland versus the National Football League, all right? So, now, Corvette says, seems like the NFL does what it wants. I guess they figure no one will sue them. Well, it's not that they do what they want. I think that it's better to say the NFL, you know what? That's fair. I think the NFL takes legal chances that it should not take. I think it makes some mistakes that, from another perspective, you have to say are just not smart. Patrick says, I like Ray, although he can get too emotional. He's a fan. Fan is short for what? Fanatic, right? He is a fanatic. Barry Strong. Mr. Rivera says, the best nation is a do nation. Have you given to We Stand with Oakland? Yeah, definitely give to We Stand with Oakland. And let me, while I'm at that, put the link up here right now, okay? And to the GoFundMe page so you can do that. There's GoFundMe.com. I found it. Fundraiser by Russ Rivera, We Stand with Oakland, right there. So, and bam. Bam! There it is. There it is. And so, Jacob says, aloha. Corvette says, what about St. Louis lawsuit? Are they making any headway? I'll find out. I'll see if I can get Jim Thomas to come back on the show. Alan Forsyth says, Zinni, I was watching the CFL, Edmonton versus BC Lions game. Sorry I missed some of the show. I understand. And John Mark says, I will give to We Stand with Oakland. Mr. Rivera says, thanks, Zinni, you're welcome. And Jabber says, antitrust laws were enforced on the NFL because they weren't treated like a business when trying to relocate. True. And Patrick Buchanan says, if it's money Mark wants, sell the team. Jacob says, is Oakland trying to do similar measures as St. Louis? No, there's a difference a vast difference between the Oakland measure. Well, let me take vast out of my language. There's a difference. The Oakland measure, I am not comfortable at this point to specifically tell you what it is based on, because that would be talking out of school. That would be giving away a legal strategy. I can say that it's not St. Louis and it has an excellent chance. I can say that. So, Alan Forsyth says, I missed his comment. Can you repeat it? Oh, he says, okay. First of all, Jacob P. says, is Oakland trying to do okay? Rivera says, St. Louis survived summary motion of court days in October. Yes. Now, Alan Forsyth says, can you explain to me when you said you think we will win a lawsuit and how this will play out and what will come out of it? Thank you. I just think we'll win. And that's based on my knowledge of what the argument's going to be and my personal knowledge of how the NFL and the Oakland Raiders have handled this entire affair. Now, there you go. Henry Flores says, Zinni, do you think Mark Davis is concerned now that Forever Oakland has Jim Quinn? I don't think Mark Davis is as concerned as people who actually know. Mark does not have this NFL knowledge that extends beyond when he came to pay attention to the Raiders. And I'm not saying that pejoratively. I'm telling you what he told me when I first met him in 2013. And I was going to talk to him about the Raiders deal that brought them back, and talk to him about Raider history in Oakland from my perspective, my unique perspective. And he goes, I don't want to hear about the past. I don't care about the past, And I didn't say anything, okay? So there you go. Does that mean now, I took that to mean he doesn't know anything about the past. I could be wrong. But my sense is he didn't know about the past much and didn't care, all right? Now, let's see here. Alan, are you in any relation to the great John Forsyth, the voice of Charlie's Angels? Jacob P. says, if Oakland wins, does this mean the Raiders are forced to stay in Oakland? Is the name just taken from them? That depends on the victory and the terms of the suit. John Marks says, cool, Alan Smith. He says, Alan Forsyth is related to Mark Messier, the famous hockey player, and he lives in Edmonton, Alberta. Another international viewer! Woo! Thank you. Zinni, behind you on the kitchen counters, are those Nick Saban's favorite little... I have no idea. Jabber says, oh, no, they're not. That's funny. Jabber says, name taken, Browns 2.0. Patrick and Blackman says, what does Mark want? Money or the Raiders? I don't think he would get both. He won't. Rivera says, Jabber is wrong, and no, Jacob, many ways can play out. Yes, many ways. Rick Rice says, hey, Zinni, you said we're going to win the lawsuit. What did they decide to sue them for? I am not telling you. There you are, okay? I'm just straight out not telling you. I'm going to keep everybody guessing. Sunset Passion, Derek turned out to be a Jerry Cutter. Raiders just traded him. Derek Carr, ooh. John Mark says, go Edmonton Eskimos. Jabber says, Rivera, yep, many ways, including a loss. Donis! Mark Davis is not out. Donis Giorgio, how are you, sir? Rivera says, laugh out loud. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. Yeah, I am not telling you. So there, I am not telling you. Rick Rice says he doesn't know. To which Rick Rice tries the old fool trick of getting me to say something by saying that I don't know. Get out of here. So anyway, golly. Oh, man. Rivera says, Jabber, Jen Quinn doesn't lose. Oh. Jacob P. says, which way do you foresee the lawsuit turning out? Where Oakland keeps the team or Oakland keeps the name? To answer that question would essentially give away part of the lawsuit, so I'm not going to do that. Alan Forsyth says, Eskimos won, they have explosive offense. Jabber says, they are trying to pull a San Jose Earthquakes. Rick Rice says, but you don't know. But that's my response to you. Alan Forsyth said, I spend summers near Pleasanton, California, bringing my Canadian TV so I can watch CNBC and TSN. Donis Georgiou says, fine. I'm tired. Sunset Plants. Sorry about that, folks. It was coming back. Okay. Had a bit of an interruption there, but I'll be back, all right? Alan Forsyth said, because I spent 3 to 4 months in Pleasanton, I'm a Raiders fan. Eskimos are my CFL team, and Oilers, of course, my NHL team. And then, let's see here, Sunset Passion says, the owner has the right to the name because the NFL owners control the NFL. And I'm going to let that one go. I'll get it in a second. Bay Area Dallas Cowboys, what happened where? That's just the telephone.
Hello.
Anyway.
Please leave a message.
So anyway,
after the tone.
that will be.
Hi.
So anyway, I will be. So anyway, that's phone call. So anyway, there. Now, oh, who's calling me at 1:20 a.m. EST? Oh, family. So anyway, almost done though. I can call them back. So anyway. And they're a little ahead of schedule, so it's okay. Now, Rick Rice says, Canadian football is actually really exciting. Rick, that's my mother. Come on. Rick, let's see. Canadian football is actually really exciting. I watched the game last night. It was awesome. Interesting. When do I come back to Cali? I have no idea. I'm paying my rent. I'm paying my bills there. But I've got to come back soon. And, no, the connection's fine. But anyway, the connection is fine. Now, Forsyth says, Zinni, Mark Davis is calling you to ask what he should do. Yeah, that would be more like it, you know? Yeah, that would be more like it. Yeah, so, that would be more like it. Now, Alan Forsyth says, Zinni, do you live in Oakland or outside of the city? I live in Oakland, by the lake. Yeah, I live in Oakland. How about you, Alan? Where do you live? So, are you in Oakland? Are you in Alberta, Canada? Where are you? So, we have, let's see here. Henry Flores says, has a lawsuit been filed? I'm lost. No, a lawsuit has not been filed yet. I can tell you that the process has moved along a lot faster than I thought it would. And, but, you know, there's some very good reasons for that. So, but it hasn't been filed yet. That's where we're at. Alan lives in Edmonton, but spreads awareness in Pleasant, California. Okay. Rivera's, as Russ Rivera says, exploring options. Smile. John Mark says, I used to live in San Leandro, former practice site of the USFL Oakland Invaders. Jacob P. says, why isn't this case a lot bigger nationally than it is? I think, Jacob P., that's just a reflection of where we're at in it. It's going to be. And not only that, you have to remember, you have to really pay attention to social media, because right now, this is where the fix is in media-wise, all right? And by that I mean this. Again, ESPN does what? It pays rights fees to the NFL. So it's not going to go off willy-nilly, you know, covering every scintilla of this thing. A. B, you have Not a lot of media out there. You have a lot of contractions. And I'm not talking about just ESPN. I mean all across media. People are not making a lot of money. And jobs are going by the wayside left and right. Social media really is what's left. And that's what you have to pay attention to. You have that and you have television. But television, look, this is where television is now. You used to be able to pay a camera crew to go out with an anchor and cover something. Right now, it's one person with a camera, handheld, doing the news themselves. When you can get that person out there and pay them. So it's not the same at all. It's just not the same. Now, Octavia says, you're skipping over me. What's up with that? I didn't know I was skipping over you, Octavia. What did you say? Sunset says soccer is getting bigger. It is. And Alan Forsyth says, if Raiders leave, it's athletics town and we can treat the Sharks as a hockey team. I want Oakland to have its own NHL team. Rick Rice says, oh, Octavia says, will we know tomorrow? Know what? Any details about what I told you? No, you will not. I don't think. No, you're not going to. I know that. In fact, no. All joking aside, I really appreciate everything you do for Zinni. There's nobody else out there giving us the real. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Bring more viewers. Bring more viewers. Tell more people. Numbers. I need numbers. Double. I need numbers. Now, no, Octavia, we will not know tomorrow. Jabber says it's been researched that 30 of 32 teams are optimal for a sports league, not getting any bigger. Henry Flores says, Zinni, I believe history will be made. Whatever happens, this will go down when fans stood up and fought the system. Jacob P says, do you know around what date the lawsuit could be filed? I'm not saying. Richard Hawk says, there's a story going around about public hearing regarding the suit. There was a story going around public hearing regarding the suit. There is, well, let me put it this way. If they decide to take action, at some point, there will be a public hearing. I mean, when that will be, I cannot say yet exactly. John Mark says, bring sponsors to Zinni62.com. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Looking for a sponsor at the $2,000 range, by the way. $2,000 will, I'm happy to send you a proposal, get you brand name representation on this video you're watching, all YouTube videos, all Zinni62 main city blogs as well, are 5 of my main city blogs as well. So, and not to mention automatic Twitter representation, automatic tweets for your brand, as they used to say in the Dreadnought days, the whole 9 yards, which is where that term came from. So there you go. Now, Rick Rice says, I'll bring more viewers, but I have no friends. Well, everybody has friends, Rick. Do you have black friends? Just kidding with you. Richard says, do you know anything about such a hearing? I know some things. Jacob P says, need numbers, strengthen numbers, and yes. Sunset Passion says, NFL can't expand. NFL is losing audience right now. It's bad if Twitter shows NFL live. That's an interesting take. So you think that Twitter is a come down? Sunset, is that what you're saying? That's notable. I want go with that. You know, talk more about that for a second. It's 1:27 to sign off soon. Donna says TV has changed for better and worse. John Mark says, how about Foster Farm chickens, Zinni? I will talk to yeah, Foster Farm. I love Foster Farm. That would be fantastic. You get a cut of that? You get a cut of it? Yeah, absolutely. I love Foster Farm. I even love to take Foster Farm to Comic-Con. Rick Wright says, what are your other city blogs? Oh, good question, Rick. I've got, in fact, you go to Zinni62.com. Let me show you right now. I'll show you. This is, I'll bring you to, this is the blog, my blog, all right, right here. If you can see that, all right. So right now, this space is represented by a client, but that's about paid, so but it's also down here, right? So this is really great for mobile. Now, as far as my other blogs, if you click here on any article, all right, and then you scroll down like so, right? There's video. They're here. See this strip? So I've got Atlanta, Chicago, Denver, Houston, Las Vegas. Oops, excuse me. Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, Oakland, Oakland News, Washington, D.C., Orlando, Richmond, Miami, London, Seattle blog, Cleveland blog, RSS feed, Honolulu, San Diego, San Francisco, Facebook page, Dallas, as any 62 is here, NFL football as well. And then I've got, these are the other college football blog, SF events blog, and I've got some others I have to replace here, and another 2 others that I built that I have to add. So those are just the main ones. I have 96 total. Yeah, 96. Now you're saying I'm kidding? No, I'm not kidding. Watch this, all right? I've got, if I go to Blogger alone, this is Blogger. And these are special, a lot of these blogs I've specially designed for clients that I then have redesigned for other use, okay? But show you how this all works here. There we go. Put the sign in that account. And then do that. Loading, please wait. And I'll center this and bring you right over so you can see real quick what's happening. Okay, now here we go. All right, this is one blog. This is my Los Angeles focus blog here. Okay, that's Los Angeles focus. But if I do that, see this list right down there, right? And then here is, let me do this again. All right. All right. And I'll scroll down like this. Oops, excuse me. Doggone Ajax. There. Okay, look. See that? Those are all my blogs. London Focus, Meet the Oakland Green Party, which I made for the Green Party, NCAA College Football, NFL Draft Magazine, New York City Restaurant blog, Mayor's Race blog, Professional Tax Software blog. I mean, Sarah Ann Hayes blog, friend of my Super Bowl Party blog. I made these Super Bowl Party blogs for Gary Bauer, Bauer Limousine, Bauer Transportation, Vlogger Action Day blog. 96 blogs in all, and I can make new ones, whenever I need. And that's 96 on Blogger. See, 93 on Blogger, 3 on WordPress. So I've got 93 here, and I have 3 WordPress blogs, and I'm adding another, which give me 94. All right, so there we go. And they're all mine, all under my control. And there you go. Yeah. So there you are. Now, if that was true, yeah, you guys. Would you like Starbucks sponsor? I love Starbucks. Absolutely. Starbucks, Foster Farms. Yes. Yes. Rick Rice says I was quoting a Dave Chappelle joke, John. And so, what are you guys arguing about? You guys have something to argue. Anyway, folks, this is fun. Alan says, nobody watches TV on their phones, man. No, Alan, people, whoa! Wait a minute. Hey, TV of Tomorrow conference in San Francisco is coming up this week at Wednesday. And it started by my friend Tracy Swedlow. I'm credentialed to be there, but it's all about, among other things, TV over IP. Watching television via your smartphone, okay? So, I don't know where you got that idea from. I mean, but look, no, that's not true. You can watch TV on your smartphone. Sling TV is one example. Hulu, Netflix, absolutely. I can start up Netflix here on my smartphone, and then I can watch the same House of Cards there if I want to, all right? No, not at all. So anyway, and there you go. So anyway, unable to connect to chat. Something happened there? I think, hello? I just said hello. Oh, somebody says unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. That's interesting. Wonder how that happened. If something happened. Let me see something here. Did I get... nope, I didn't. Oh, here we go. Okay, now. Oh, I know what happened. This was a... let me refresh this. See if that does anything. It does. Oh, yeah. I got all these comments I didn't see. Okay, now. Rick Rice says, I was watching USC. Alan Forsyth says, you can watch TV on your phone or computer 5 years ago. Just providers are trying to make money off of it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, Russ says, way easy now and cheaper, limited data plans. Yeah, it's true. Folks, no, but you can get Netflix on your cell phone. All right. Anyway, good night, folks. I have got to get some rest and sleep. All right. Go Raiders. Hey, remember, tomorrow night, really tonight, 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 Eastern, Zenny 62 features Grizz, the Godfather, talking about Forever Oakland and the movement to retain the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night. Raiders. I can't quite say it like Charles Woodson, but actually I say it better than Charles Woodson. Good night. That's right. Dang it. All right, I'll see you guys. Good night, everybody. I'll see you. You can bet your last money it's all going to be a stone, something. But anyway, I'll see you. Oh, boy. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night. And I'll see you all later. Good night.